Hi everybody, I'm Trish Christ. In this episode of Our Nashville, NECAT and our super crew of teenagers spend some time with Turnip Green Creative Reuse. Executive Director Leah Sherry and her team are going to show and tell us all the cool things they do in our community. You ready, Leah?
Yes.
You ready, super crew?
Yeah!
Let's make a show.
It's our Nashville.
It's our Nashville.
It's our Nashville.
这是我们的纳什维尔。
We all know how to talk about our organization during meetings, but what about the chance encounter of a lifetime? You never know who may share your next elevator, notice your logo on a notebook or a tote bag, and ask what you do. What's the clearest, most persuasive thing you can say in a short elevator ride?
We are a creative reuse, and what that means is we divert materials from the landfill and we get them back to people who really need them in Nashville. And we do that in 4 ways. We do that through a retail space where people can both donate materials and shop materials, and they get to pay whatever they're able. We do it through green galleries where we promote local artists who use reused materials. We do it through an open studio space where anyone's welcome to come and create whenever we're open. And we do it through education outreach where we pay teaching artists to teach the community how to reduce their waste through creative, hands-on, sustainable projects.
Leah, I am so excited to have you here today and to learn more about Turnip Green Creative Reuse. There's so many cool words in the title of your nonprofit that I'm actually going to start there. Let's talk about the name. Why Turnip Green Creative Reuse? What do those 4 words mean to you?
So Turnip Green, it's a little bit of a play on words. So it's actually, Turnip is named after our founder's dog, Turnip, who's the cutest dog in the world. So that was the main inspiration, but then she thought it's like turn up the green, like being more sustainable, which kind of plays into the creative reuse part. So a creative reuse, a lot of people get it mixed up. They're like, you're a recycle center, but we're focusing more on reusing before recycling. So we allow people to, bring donations, and then other people can take them and reuse them instead of throwing them away or recycling them.
Because you guys are not making more bottles out of used bottles.
Right. These materials can turn into anything, and that's the creative part of it.
You guys receive otherwise discarded items. You sell them to artists in a very special way. You teach artists and people who are interested in art some art skills, and then you resell the new products made from these formerly discarded items in a completed art form. Is that a fair assessment of that?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it from sort of the chronology of how it happens. Stuff comes in. From where? What is it? What do you take? What do you not take?
It's a little bit of everything. So what's special about us is we are a thrift store, but we take things that other thrift stores don't. So there's a lot of stuff going into the landfill because there are all these other wonderful secondhand stores, but they just don't accept things that are broken or scrappy or these sort of like untraditional items. So we said, well, hey, we can take those because we know a few things. We know that teachers and artists can take something broken or scrappy and they can turn it into anything. So there's no reason for it to be in a landfill. So people bring in items. It could be anything. It could be half of a sheet of paper. It could be 1 paper clip. It could be scraps of fabric that are left over from a project. It could be a broken lamp. But so we get like 100 pounds of materials every hour we're open.
Every hour?
Every hour we're open, 100 pounds of donated materials all across the board come in. So it's kind of hard to come up with a very specific list, although we do have, a baseline list of things we accept because there's all kinds of weird things out there. So if you don't know, most likely we accept it or we can find a place for you that does. So yeah, people bring in the materials and then anyone's able to come in and take what they need and they can name their own price for them.
Where else can an artist go and get supplies where he gets to choose how much he wants to pay for them?
I mean, I guess like the dumpsters, which a few of our artists do. But yeah, so we really we care about arts and we care about the environment. So that's a way to address both issues, because we are helping by preventing materials from going into the landfill, but we're also making those materials accessible for artists who might not always, be in a position to pay enough for a brand new canvas from a traditional art store. So this kind of helps artists who are getting on their feet, and then even more established artists can still come in, which they do. It's really fun to see all of the different levels.
I would assume that there's different inspiration when looking at a blank, shiny new canvas from a store versus half a lamp, some vinyl records, a carpet swatch.
Yeah, it forces you to tap into this different area of your brain. It's like whenever I was an art teacher, and there were two different ways to do it, as per Pinterest showed me. There's a way to show every student in your class, draw this line, now draw this line, and every single product looks exactly the same. Or there's, okay, here's this, I'm gonna give you, the basic tools, and I want you to take it where you want it. I want you to use your experience, your journey, your creativity, and let's see what you come up with, and then let's talk about it. And so that second way is, that's the way I believe in teaching, and also just serving our community through Turnip Green. It's kind of interesting too, in today's society, you can get on the internet and you can say, I want this canvas in this color and this size, and I want it dropped off by a drone in 30 minutes. So we do have this instant gratification sort of thing. We have access to everything all the time. But it's kind of fun because people can come into Turnip Green and you never know what you're gonna find. So it sparks this whole new level of creativity, and it's so fun because customers are always gathering around. They don't even know each other. It seems like everyone in there knows each other because they're like, oh, you could do this, oh, what do you do? So yeah, it's exciting to see their ideas and them inspiring one another.
For folks who do need instruction on what to do, I believe you teach classes, different types of art classes. Tell us about those.
So many classes. We have classes in our open studio during our art receptions. We always pay a local teaching artist to come in and do guided instruction, but of course people are welcome to take it their own way. And then we do classes in the community. We have 15 after school programs.
Wow.
So that's all ages, kindergarten through high school. We have about 65 teachers right now.
Holy moly.
Yeah, it's a lot.
That's more art teachers than at Metro, probably.
I think close. But yeah, so they go out into schools and they teach kids of all ages how to create different things. Some of them are guided. And then, some kids, everybody's on a different level. So some kids are like, I can do it myself. It's like, cool, go for it. And then some kids who do need a little bit of extra instruction. We have teaching artists and we have assistants, so they have a lot of one-on-one attention whenever they need it. And then we do more waste reduction focused classes, but what's cool about those, even though they're teaching about reuse and recycling and composting and litter, they're all supplemented with an art project. So we bring in materials from our store that have been donated from people in the community, and we teach composting, for example. You know those green hanging file folders?
Yes, we do.
Do you have a million of them,
Yes,
like
we do.
every other person in the world, and everyone's switching over to digital, so we get seriously thousands of them, thousands and thousands. What are we gonna do with all these? Well, we teach these composting workshops. Guess what? Those are compostable, right? And we want to teach an art skill. So we teach about the greens and browns of composting, and we take the green folders and brown paper, we cut them up, and we teach kids how to weave the 2-to-1 ratio. So they're learning about the science part, the compost part, the save the earth part, but they're learning weaving, and they're learning it with materials that we've helped save from the landfill. So we're trying to combine all of this stuff. It's all rooted in materials and taking care of the earth and supporting arts, but we're weaving it all together.
Literally.
Yes, literally.
Wow.
Yeah.
Finished products. Let's talk about what happens after an artist's brain and spirit comes in contact with fun stuff from your store, and they make something new. Does it come back into your world? What happens?
A lot of times it does. So we have 2 green galleries now, which is very exciting. And we have, in one of them, we have a new show every single month. In the other one, we have quarterly shows, so every 3 months. That's still a lot of art. It's almost 200 local artists that we've shown art by. And most of the stuff does come from our store, most of the materials that they use. And we work really hard to not just hang up their art and hope people stumble in and see it. We work really hard to promote them, to elevate the people who are being really responsible environmentally whenever they are creating. 'Cause as an artist, it's very easy to waste. It's very easy to go buy brand new things and then throw away your scraps afterwards. So we really want to lift those people up. We promote them on all of our socials, our newsletters. We work with a really sweet marketing company that helps throw all of that out into the universe so more people come. We have receptions, we have opening and closing receptions. So then people can buy their art either from our Facebook, or if they want to come in and look at the art, they can purchase it there. And then we give artists a percentage back, and then we keep a small percentage for Turnip Green.
Fantastic. Let's talk about who your teachers are. Where do they come from? How does someone who's interested in teaching green things or art things get engaged and help further your endeavors?
So our teaching artists are amazing, and they come from everywhere. They are all ages. They're so amazing. So we've got 65, like I said. The way that you can sign up if you're interested in learning more is on our website. There's a teaching artist application right there. And what's really cool is we have teachers who are traditional teachers or have been, so like retired school teachers. We have a lot of teachers who are currently working at Metro Nashville Public Schools. Because our schedules are so flexible and we have a lot of weekend and evening classes, they're able to work their normal 9 to 5 and then go teach composting on the weekends, for example. We have also a lot of teachers who haven't taught in classrooms and don't even have education degrees. And I kind of like that, because a degree, while it's very helpful in a lot of cases, that doesn't mean you're not fit or you are fit, to do a certain job. So I think having a passion for the earth, having a passion for art and being a creative person, and just loving kids, like those are my top 3. If you can hang out with a kid and give them the love that they need and let them play and discover and explore and create, I'm sorry, you're qualified in my book, and you have to pass a background check. But so we have a healthy mix of experienced people from a traditional setting, and then sort of new blood, that they're just there because they really care about the mission and helping people.
My name is Nicole Avendano, and I am currently the education coordinator here. When I first started just learning about Turnip Green, I was really looking into the programs and kind of the order that I wanted to take them in, because I knew there were recycling. I knew you could take a tour of the recycling center. I knew you could do like an art craft. I knew you could do composting program and litter pickups, but I wanted to do them in a way that made sense and kind of built on each other. So I first started with litter pickups. Just to kind of see how much, to kind of raise awareness within myself and in the community, just how much trash there is on our streets, and how much money is spent to clean up the trash that shouldn't even be there in the first place. A lot of time and money and resources spent on that. So I definitely kind of dove into that aspect and started just kind of doing litter cleanups on my own, and got some people involved. And a friend of mine who was involved in the zero waste stuff, she had a really good idea of doing partnering up with breweries to do litter pickups. So we kind of got the ball rolling on that. We got help from Leah, and she helped us take it to Metro, and they set it up. And so now that's something we do every month, at least every month, with different breweries, and we pick up litter, and then it's kind of an educational program in and of itself, because at the end we sort everything. So we go through the reusable, the recyclable, the compostable. So it's a lesson you can take home, not just the awareness, but how it applies to what you can do when you're at home. I lead a litter pickup every month at Whitsett Elementary. So for their Power Monday, they get a lot of organizations to come to the school and kind of talk about what they do, and kind of do engaging stuff with the kids. And so what I do is I do a litter pickup. So I put together a presentation that I show them about the environmental, economic, social kind of benefits and negative impacts of littering and not littering, right? So we kind of go through that. We look at some pictures, and then we actually get to go outside and do a litter pickup. So that's the really cool part. You get that kind of educational component, but you actually get the hands-on learning, which is my favorite part, because when you merge those two together, like that's when you actually learn, and that's what sticks with you. So we put on the yellow vest, we do the rules, they get their litter grabbers, and we walk around their school. They have a little creek, so sometimes we go down the creek and pick up, a lot of trash accumulates on the banks there, so we pick up trash there. And afterwards, it's really cool. We tell them, like, you are a hero of your school because you just made your school cleaner. And it's kind of funny because we've been doing it for so long now that every time I go, there's like less trash. So it's kind of cool to see like the impact it's making. Like there is less trash now. I think they're realizing I can just save this wrapper that I have at recess. I'll just save it and I'll take it inside instead of throwing it on the ground, or, just people seeing that it's less littered, they are less inclined to litter it if a place isn't littered. So the waste management tours might be one of my favorites. We do one weekly tour that anyone can just sign up and come and do, and it's really cool. We go through a presentation. We have some really good information people don't realize, like recycling it will only stay if it's profitable. So like we have to do certain things to make it profitable, and part of our role there is to teach people that contamination matters, and so we got to educate how to recycle right. And when I come in here, I see just a ton of potential from all these items. One that people kind of saw potential in at first when they were donating them, and then when other people walk in, it's just shifting a mindset to these things that could have been thrown away or could have been recycled first before being reused. It's just changing that mindset of thinking these items really have a potential and can be used elsewhere in other parts of the system. And nature is so diverse. It is not one thing. It has multiple different components, and that's how it's able to just survive and produce everything it needs within its own system without taking and leaving excess. So I think it's just a really cool way to mimic nature, just using everything that you have without having to reinvent the wheel, because it takes a lot of time to try to reinvent the wheel when so many other people already know what you can do.
One thing we try to push very hard at Turnip Green is reduce, reuse, recycle. Those 3 R's are in that order for a reason, not just because it has a ring to it. Reducing is the most important R. So reducing the amount of plastic bags is obviously step number 1. So you could bring in a reusable bag or bring in a box. So trying not to use plastic at all is the best. And then if you do have a plastic bag, reuse it. You can reuse it for a trash bag in your bathroom or a lunch sack. And then if you do need to recycle it, just take it back to the store, but don't put it in your curbside bin. And then with that, a lot of people bag their recyclables. That's the same thing. So typically if a truck picks up your recyclables and they're in a plastic bag and they're tied shut, they're not going to make it through. So if you're doing all of that hard work to separate your materials, you really want to make sure that it's turning into something new. So it's pretty sad to think, oh no, that just ended up in the landfill too. So just don't bag them. One trick, you can put a plastic bag in your bin and just dump it, but don't put the whole bag in there. Yeah.
Let's talk about, because we could totally go deep on this. I know.
Yes, I know.
Both of us. Washing recyclables. That shocks a lot of people. Why am I washing my trash, they say.
Yes.
Why do we need to rinse out a Coke bottle or what have you before we put it in the recycle bin?
Well, what happens is all of these materials that you recycle, they get sorted. So all of the plastic bottles will end up in one gigantic pile, and then they turn into a big cube called a bale, and they go off to be, turned into new bottles. So what happens is if there's a lot of sticky Coke or dirty, like a ranch bottle, that's annoying to wash it out, I understand. But if there's too much, they call it contamination, they'll actually reject the bales. So once it gets to the place where it's supposed to turn into something new, they say, I'm sorry, X amount percent contaminated and we're going to have to send it back, which either means they're going to have to break that down and sort through it, which costs a lot of time and money, or it's just going to get thrown away.
It's car-sized bale of recyclables because of your sticky ranch dressing bottle.
Yes. So, and then I always like to give like this example and this example, so it doesn't have to go through your dishwasher. Yes, I have friends who wash their recyclables through their dishwasher.
Wow.
That's fine if you do it, but it's not completely necessary. But it doesn't need to be like, if you look at it and it's just totally soiled and disgusting, that's gonna ruin it, which is really sad.
Why is it bad to put records and carpet and linoleum and random materials, man-made items? Why is it bad to put man-made items in a landfill?
Well, it's bad to put man-made, and even like fruit and vegetables, all of it's bad to put in a landfill. First of all, it takes up space. Secondly, well, one example I love to give is people think like, well, if I throw my apple away or my banana, it'll just break down and turn into organic matter, right? But there's no oxygen in a landfill. So this stuff that we're throwing in, it's actually not breaking down, whether it's man-made or if it's like a natural material. It's not breaking down at the rate that you would expect. An apple would take a couple years, at least, to break down. So that's taking up a bunch of space, for one. And our landfill that's closest to us right now, it's about to be completely full. That means we're gonna have to find a ton of land to start burying our trash. That I hate the word trash. I don't think that word should exist. I think everything can be reusable or reused or recycled. But like, I don't know about you, but I don't really want to live next to a landfill. If I had children, you know, I wouldn't want the landfill to be next to my child's school. So it also, you know, all of this stuff collectively, like electronics, man-made items, there's toxins and they leak out, and they have systems in place to make sure that they're not getting in our groundwater and things like that, but there's still a ton of, you know, toxins just being released back into the earth, and it's dangerous. It's not good for animals, it's not good for us, it's no good for anyone. And so there's this phrase that we always say, I'm sure you've heard it, but I'm gonna throw something away. And
there is no away.
There's no away. Away is the landfill. And you may think it's not going to affect you, but it is. It's coming back and affecting you in the form of greenhouse emissions or a lot of other negative ways. So I would like everyone to be a little bit more mindful of that, just because, you know, you're not touching it and you don't see it anymore. It's still going somewhere and it's having some sort of impact on something, and usually it's you.
I saw a sign the other day that said, it's just one straw, said a billion people.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, that's very powerful.
Other than receiving items from a viewer right now, what is something that your new friends watching on TV could do to further your endeavors?
Well, we always like social media friends.
Yes.
So if you want to give us a follow on Facebook or Instagram, check out our website. That's one good way. And you can learn about more ways to support there. Volunteers, obviously, so helpful. The thing I really like about our volunteer programs, because I've volunteered for a bunch of different organizations, and a lot of times there's just like one job they need you to do, which is totally fine. But what's cool about Turnip Green is, oh, you like kids? You can volunteer in our education program. Oh, you like art? You want to help at a gallery reception? Oh, you're organized and you don't want to talk to people? Cool, you can go back in our processing area and help organize materials. So we really have a space for all ages, all skills. And one thing I hear a lot, we have a lot of really sweet like moms and dads who want to volunteer with their children. We've had preschool volunteers because preschoolers can sort by color. And you know what? I will take that help any day.
Great.
So yeah, all ages, all skill sets, we have a space for you, and it's so helpful to have volunteers.
We're at my favorite portion of the whole episode process. It's the speed round. It's just like the game we played when we were little. I ask you a question, and the first thing that comes to mind, just let it fly, and we'll go on to the next thing.
Okay. I'm nervous.
You're nervous? Okay, here we go. Speed round with Leah Sherry. Name 2 things you've seen artists make from albums or 45 RPM records.
A clock and a vision board.
That's not even what I saw in your store. There's more that I've seen there. What's the oddest thing someone has wanted to donate?
Horse teeth.
Did you take it?
Yeah, and then we had a contest to see who could actually flip it the quickest. And our staff member, Gracie, I think she won.
She made something out of horse teeth?
Oh no, to flip it, like
Oh, to
to
sell it.
convince a customer to take it, but now we have a bones and teeth person.
Wow.
Yeah, so anytime we get something like that, we know who to call.
Wow.
Something great came out of it.
That's fantastic, I think. What weighs more, a pound of turnip greens or a pound of recycled carpet samples?
They both weigh a pound.
Smart girl. What emotion do you see on artist faces browsing in your store?
I see a lot of tears. It's one of my favorite stories.
Wow.
Is my previous career teaching in a really tough public school and teaching art. I saw a lot of tears on kids and adults' faces. I know that sounds really sad,
Wow.
but because of the stress and pressure, and I see a lot of teachers and artists come in and they tear up and they're just like, this is amazing. And it's such a wonderful place to be in life. Yeah.
That
It's
is
my
not at all what
favorite.
I expected you to say.
It's
That's
my
amazing.
favorite.
Who benefits when we reuse or recycle instead of putting things in a landfill?
We all do.
What mark do you want Turnip Green Creative Reuse to make on the world?
I want the education to just be everywhere. You know, I want other people to create creative reuses. I do want one to be in every city, and it doesn't even have to be ours. I want everyone to get on board with it's cool to reuse. You don't have to buy brand new things. It's cool to promote arts, and it's cool to take care of the earth.
And the hardest question of all, my friend, what is your website?
Oh, this is kind of hard because it's very long. www.turnipgreencreativereuse.org.
Fabulous. Thank you, Leah.
Thank you.
It's our Nashville.